tonight I've got Randy Felice on with me from ANS Motorcycles. He is in Roseville, California. You probably know of ANS Motorcycles. You probably know of Randy Felice. But Randy's the dealer principal of ANS Motorcycles. And I've got him on. I'd like to have him tell you a little bit about himself. And Randy, welcome to the podcast. I was glad you and I got to link up and kind of chat about some stuff. Earlier in the week or whatever, I jumped in and just did a little, hey, I've been gone, but here's some things to think about. And kind of where you and I started chatting, I think starts where that ends, and sort of some of the questions I asked, but it had to do with kind of seasonality, time of year, seasons changing. And what you and I started talking about, amongst other things, was, using that off time, or the time when potentially, you don't have quite as much sort of pop in to build processes and train employees. And I think as we went into that deeper, well, you certainly have you probably get 100 years worth of experience in the things you do with that.
Yeah, we definitely think of, we don't think of the winter as our slow time. That's the time we're the most busy training employees, putting new processes, looking at new processes, putting them into place, getting ready for those for the spring. I mean, of course, we're in California, so we have about 8 months on and 4 months off, and 4 months goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, when we put a new process into place, it takes at least that much time to get it going. And as the adage that takes 21 days to learn a habit, that seems to be dead on. It's just like, just to get someone to change doing what they were doing before to doing what they needed to do now. So, winter is when we make things happen.
We got to talk back and forth, and you shared with me some documents that had to do with, some really interesting, many things, but like, for example, one of the things you shared with me is your service advisor checklist. I don't know, we should maybe just take some of these one by one. I know that I've got the time to chat, and you can kind of let me know if we start running out of time on your end, because I know it's the evening hours, pretty late. But things like the service advisor checklist, the first job I ever had was it was a Yamaha dealership in Louisville, Texas. And I was a service advisor, service writer, right? And that's the first job I ever had. And there was no checklist, I know. For me, anyway, and it was a pretty happening. It was a Yamaha Pilot store, one of only, I think, one or two in the country. So it was, big time. But they didn't give me a checklist. I didn't have a checklist like this, but to look at it, you've got, and I guess to back up a step, you had said that on these checklists and things, you tend to build these in like a Google Doc, right? So you can share with your team, and they could print them out as they need them. And then you can make changes to them, and obviously they change in real time. And when they print a new one out to be used, any information that shifts, right, and gets updated.
Yep, that's correct. I'd like to go back before that and talk about how that we got into making all these
absolutely
processes. If that's okay. Our job, it did how we thought was best to do it. We left everybody was on their own to figure it out, or we came up with a bunch of good ideas and we talked about them in a meeting, but then when it came down to actually implementing them, everybody forgot what they were supposed to do. And after complaint from customers, we said, you know what? There's only one way this is going to happen. Is we need to make processes and put them down on paper, checklists, and make sure that we are providing consistent message, a consistent product to our customers all the time. And when we started that, at first, to our employees, it looked like we were just micromanaging. And so we had to go start over and start out with making a declaration of who we are in our business, and who we are to our customers. And we used a business coach actually to help us figure out how to do all this. And the first thing we needed to do was come up with a vision statement of mission statement commitments, so that it was clear to our employees and to our managers, and even myself, because I had to write these. And it's basically saying, this is the business I want to live in. and everybody else gets to follow. Once we realize we need to put that together, then we read it every meeting. Before every meeting, this could mean hearing it 5 or 6 times a month. Then they understand why we are not micromanaging, but making sure we're giving a consistent product. I don't know if you're interested. Should I read our vision statement community? It helps the
Absolutely.
listeners. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our internal vision statement and mission statement commitment. It is the vision of ANS Motorcycle Parts Incorporated to be known around the world for its dedication to integrity. Our mission is to provide the ultimate buying experience for the product lines and services we offer. We are committed to honesty and integrity. We'll do what we say and say what we mean. We will accept everyone for who they are and their own unique perfection. We commit to acknowledging all customers with a smile and verbal greeting, offering assistance to assure their needs are fulfilled. We commit to having a highly trained staff that is accountable and sees any challenge the opportunity of providing service beyond expectations. We comply with all laws and regulations. We operate a fun, friendly, clean, safe, and profitable business. We use creativity to build long-term value for our guests, our employees, and suppliers. And we'll always remember that for us and our guests, it's about the ride. So that's our internal vision statement and commitments. We used to make that, of course, that was printed on our website. It was printed on the walls, and the customers, it was, I don't know what to say. It was a little far out for them. So we realized after almost 10 years, we needed to make something customer facing that was easy to understand and get real quickly. So here's our customer facing. Be the retail standard for quality, integrity, and enthusiasm. Our mission is to help make every ride you take the best it can be. We will do this by being responsive to your needs and by being committed to finding answers. It's about the ride. So that is the way we keep on focus with why we do what we do. With regarding checklist processes, it can be very tedious and sometimes redundant for our employees, and we want to make sure that they're as committed to it as we are. What do you think? Does that make sense?
So, the fact that you come up with a list and say, here's either what's next, how your battery is X number old. Here's, the next thing you might be looking at, whether you want to do that now or do that later. That might be something you think about coming up, or brake pads or whatever. Those are smart moves, because obviously when somebody drops off, especially when you're the manufacturer, a representative in the market for that brand, they hold you to a really high standard, so it's definitely a smart move to make sure that that's not, sort of an exception. It's always a rule.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this actually came out of when we made our commitment, or not our commitment, but our motto, it's about the ride. It's not easy to do a full inspection on a bike, especially you're not going to always upsell, and it takes a lot of extra time to slows down the service department. But how can you say it's about the ride if you don't? No manufacturer that I've seen says has in their checklist for a full service to measure the thickness of the discs. It's not. I have not seen on any service checklist yet. They do go below minimum. Then the braking is not optimal. So we added it to a checklist, and like I say, nobody else ever recommends it, but it's something that should be done. So, yeah, if it's going to be about the ride, which we say it is, then that means we're checking for everything, so that when they leave, it's ready for them to go.
Absolutely.
All right, down the rest of the checklist. Inform the customer of any additional items needing attention noticed during a walk around that is not addressed on the repair order. Let me reread that. Inform customers of additional items needing attention noticed during the walk around that are not addressed on repair order, if any. Oh, so that means they came and asked for a certain list of things, but we noticed other things and asked if they want to get those done before we've even started. Note any refusals of repairs so that it is documented that it was noticed and refused by the customer. And this is something that we didn't do originally, and we found that If you didn't write down or document that a customer refused something, they're not going to remember that. So it's just like you never offered it to them. If you didn't, it's not documented that they turned it down. It's just like not ever offering it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we put that on the checklist. Inquire about the age of the battery, because it wasn't on any other checklist. I mean, just change the battery when it dies. Well, these new batteries that are often made with recycled lead, they don't slowly fail over time. They just die.
Yeah,
They
and
just suddenly need to be
it's not going to be about the ride when they can't go out on the day that you're closed, because the
Yeah.
battery's dead.
So that we also check. I don't have it on this checklist, but checking the age of the tires. Just because a lot, the average rider only puts 2,500 miles on a year, so they may have 6-year-old tires with good tread on them, but that doesn't mean that they're not too old to use.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, repair order information. Review the entire repair order job lines and costs with the customer. And I should mention that each service advisor is checking these off as they're talking to the customer. Ask the customer if they would like their old parts back. We actually went a step further than this. We do ask them, but every time we deliver a bike, it comes with a bag full of their old parts. They actually have to tell us to throw it away, so that not only, when you ask them that question, do we want to keep the parts, and they just say, no, I don't need them, but they know you actually did the service.
Yep.
There's never a question about it. Or if you took off an accessory they didn't want anymore, or you added an accessory and the old takeoff part, we want to make sure that we've given them the opportunity to keep the takeoff part, not offer to like we're going to keep it.
Yep.
Inform the customer estimated time and date of completion. Under promise and over deliver. We have no service job that can be done faster than 4 hours. You come in for anything, we're going to tell you it's at least 4 hours. And this makes some customers upset, but I'd much rather tell them up front that it's going to be 4 hours because we're going to do an inspection of the bike. Even getting in contact with them and letting them know that we found something could make that 4 hour could break that 4 hour window. So we stick to it. We don't want to tell them it's going to be done sooner and have them waiting around, not keeping to our word. Mm-hmm. Give customer a copy of the repair order. I know it seems obvious, but you'd be surprised. I rarely seem to get handled a repair order at the car dealerships I go to, and it's in California. It's required by law. Okay. Review how to reach customers for additional repair approvals and how the customer can reach you, or you can reach the customers. We ask them their preference, and that's the way we contact them. Texting seems to be the way everybody wants to be contacted these days. Mm-hmm. Write an appointment date as well as the pickup date on the RO. Check the RO for warranty overlap. Now, of course, the manufacturers require that, but we have to make sure we get it done right so we don't get charged back. And make sure all parts are sold to the repair order. So in Lightspeed, you have to make sure you have to drive that extra step. So it's that anything that comes up with our quirky Lightspeed system, we make sure we get on the checklist. And then after we do that, it's just like you having a guest in your home. You tell them how to be at your home. You give them inform them where they can store their helmet and jacket. Tell them how to use the Wi-Fi. Show them where the restrooms are located. Show them where the waiting areas are located. Tell them about our included car rental program, where we pay for 1 day of car rental, or an Uber, or subsidized towing. So that would be on the phone, of course, if they have, so they know how they're going to get home or how they get their bike there. Offer an apparel discount coupon. So when they come in, we offer them a discount on one piece of apparel to get them into the shopping mode. And the service advisor has to remember to give them the coupon, so it's on the checklist. Offered local area restaurant information if they're going to be hanging around for a while, and ask customers, again, if there's anything they can suggest to us to improve their experience with us. Now, we haven't even started the process yet, but we're going to ask them what's important to them while they're going through the process, so we can hear about it before, instead of waiting till it's all over to find out what mistakes we might have made. Mm-hmm. So that's the service advisor checklist.
Was surprising to me once you and I started talking, because to me, I always thought generally I see a dealer principal acting as general manager, as you'd mentioned, and usually they've put some distance between themselves and the customer, which in theory, right, in my opinion, I've not done that role, but I would think that that's not what you want, but it tends to be, I think, normal. And I think, obviously what you're doing is saying you want less daylight, less question marks, less ability to keep the feelers on how are we doing. I think that you sitting in that position is probably the best way I've ever heard of for somebody to do that. So I just thought I'd point that out.
I appreciate that. Yeah, actually, you're right. Whenever time I actually used to have my desk right by the front door and attempt to be a sales manager, a salesperson, and I grew role once. It got to be too much. I still have my desk on the showroom. I don't have it. I don't have an office. The customers appreciate it. The employees appreciate it. They know that if you have a complaint and you couldn't find anybody to talk to, you weren't trying very hard with the dealer principal, sales manager sitting right there on the floor, involved every day.
Right.
So, but yes, that's right, and that's where I think a sales manager belongs, is right on the floor. That doesn't mean I should necessarily be being I'm the last person to talk to a customer and make a sale, but I'm fully ready and capable of doing that. But my first goal is to make sure that customers are getting help, directing. Salespeople are fully informed of anything they need to know about, all the programs that are available every month, the bikes that are on special, those are on stands in the showroom, so everybody knows exactly where they are. And my job is support, not command, for my salespeople.
We call the retail delivery checklist. And what's that one all about?
So we were finding that after we sold the motorcycle, we would certainly show them where the clutch lever was and the brake and the shift lever and give them the registration. We were finding that customers are leaving without all the information about how they can use our dealership, what they need to know about their motorcycle beyond just what's in the manual. So we started getting more intense in the delivery process. And I'm not necessarily talking about how to turn the buttons on the stereo, because I've had a late model car delivered to me, and I really don't want to sit there for an hour while somebody tells me how to use my stereo.
Right.
So I'll go over the checklist with what we came up with, so the customer can become fully a member of the family of the dealership, and a little more informed about motorcycling with their motorcycle and protecting the dealership, because after they've spent a few hours buying their bike and talking to a salesperson, talking to an F&I person, now they're going to get their bike and they're going to forget the important things that you already told them. They're going to say you never told them. So we have a checklist.
Their eyes are filled with hearts. They're ready to go have the experience, and you definitely want to make sure these things are covered, because these are all important pieces. But yeah, I guess I point that out because we've all done that, as you say, and it's got to be difficult to keep, but having a checklist. I mean, that's exactly, I guess, why we're talking about this, because that's when everybody's not thinking straight on the consumer side. We can make sure that they've gotten all the information they'd needed.
And we don't want to assume that everybody's ready to dart out. I mean, they have questions, or they might have questions they want answered. Mm-hmm. And usually they do, especially those buying high-end motorcycles with lots of features and all. They might even be nervous about leaving because they don't know how to use the controls. Mm-hmm. That's when I came across this whole conundrum. I said, they have a whole bunch of questions in their head, and I'm about to tell them a whole bunch of answers that don't necessarily answer the questions they have in their head. So the first question on our checklist is, what is the most important thing you'd like to know right now? And they really light up, because now they realize they're going to control this process, that they're going to find out. They're not going to have to hold on to that question or try to remember after I tell them a bunch of stuff. Let's answer the most important thing that they have on their mind. Sometimes it's, well, how do I put it on the footer stand? Or when's my next service due, or how do I get home? Or maybe it's, I just realized I don't want to ride my bike home because I'm nervous and I'm a new rider. Is there a way we can get delivered? Although, of course, we're going to offer that already. This might be the point where they change their mind and say, yeah, let's just deliver it. So I really like that question, the first one, letting them tell us what they want to know first after they've completely. Go ahead.
I think when you would ask a customer, like I'm just picturing myself, you ask me, what's the most important things you want to know about your new bike, right? To me, that puts the big chunks in first that I can set a bit of groundwork, right? And then I've got the ability for all that the next smaller particle and the next smaller particle in the sand. And obviously then you've gotten all the information in, but I think a lot of times it's important because when you've got an unanswered question, am I really a good listener? If I've got something on my mind, probably not. So I think that's a really smart way to do it, is to front load that with the big chunks.
That's an awesome analogy. I will use that in our next meeting. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. So then we go into the things that we tell all bikes, when they buy new or used. The first thing we come out with it. Now we've already given them the ANS brochure that we have. That when they've come in to buy a bike, because we have an introduction package that that has the ANS brochure and some gifts and things to welcome them into the shop. But we go over the ANS brochure again, and we point out the three biggest things that are important to us, because we're not going to read the whole brochure to them. But the three value features that we have in our store are: we will pay for a rental car or an Uber when you come in for service, because we're too afraid to give you a free motorcycle to ride away. So we go over that. We have a price match guarantee policy. If you find it online, advertised in our regular marketing, we will match that price and we'll ship it to you, no charge, if we don't have it in stock. And the third value is we have loyalty rewards. So 3% of your purchases in parts and service on non-consumer items will go towards future purchases, and we will manage that for you. All you gotta do is remember your email address. So we go over the brochure, give them the brochure, and highlight the first three things that they might be interested in. We demonstrate to the customer. We tell them about it. The ABS light will stay on when they start to ride off, because every time we send someone off on the new bike, the ABS light would be on until they ride a few feet and it goes off. And we've already figured out that that's a common problem so we tell them right off the bat that that's going to happen. We tell them how to check their tire pressures and what they should be set at, how to adjust their seats. We show them we put a battery tender cable on their bike so they don't have to do that, and how to and how to use it. We show them we tell them about adjusting their chain and chain removal, chain lube,